April 30th, 2023 was the first time I used a dipping pen, which is this. Basically, this entire sketchbook was done with dipping pen. This was the first drawing I did with a dipping pen, which is just guts. And as I flip through the sketchbook, all of these were done with dipping pen. This is a year's worth of work, except for this one page that I did. This one. This was done with Microns. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera, since my camera isn't that great, but it's a lot lighter than the actual ink. These are the 3 dipping pen nibs I use right now. There's a lot of different dipping pen nibs, but these are the 3 I use the most. Now, what is a dipping pen? Dipping pen is a tool used in art, mostly manga, that's made of 2 pieces, the pen nib and the pen holder. And basically, the pen holder has 2 rings for a smaller nib and a bigger nib to go into. There's many inks to use when using a dipping pen. Personally, I used Leader Black 4 ink because it dries fast, it looks really nice, and it's waterproof, which is big if you're into watercolor, which I'm not, but I buy it because it just looks nice. Why not just use microns or fine liners instead of a dipping pen? Well, a dipping pen is definitely more fun to use since you get to open a little bottle of ink and dip it in multiple times. It is a little more annoying to use though. Now Micron here, 0.3, pretty easy, you just pop the cap off, start drawing, really nothing to it. With a G pen, you gotta constantly keep dipping and cleaning off the tip. Now what is the difference between a fountain pen and a dipping pen? This is a dipping pen, of course, or a G pen as I like to call it. Basically, a fountain pen just takes the pen nib, and it has the ink cartridge inside of like a ballpoint pen or a Micron, and it just takes the G pen nib and puts it on top of, well, the marker. So it's just replacing the tip with a G pen nib instead of a fine liner point like the Micron. That's the best example I can give. Now when it comes to looking better, G pen definitely wins, but my camera isn't good, so it's a little hard to see the difference. So I did Micron first, and then I did the G pen. Micron's pretty simple, fine liner, same with lines most of the time. Very sloppy lines right here though. But overall, it's not very dark. While if you use the G pen, as I'll show you in a second, it's a lot darker. You can see it a lot better. Again, my camera sucks, so it's not that easy to tell the difference, but trust me, it's definitely better. It looks a lot better in person than it does just with a Micron. And I'll show you guys later when I ink a drawing prepared for this. So yeah. You can kind of tell it's a little darker than the Micron on the camera, but it's definitely way darker in person. Trust me. Now, how much ink should you use when working with a G pen? You want to use a little up to just under where that hole is in the middle of the pen nib. Just under that, because you don't want too much, because then you basically just are wasting ink at that point, because it'll dry up, you can't use it. It'll block up the rest of the pen, it's like there. And I don't know, you just don't need a lot of ink when working with a G pen. All the ink flows downwards, so make sure you don't hold the pen from like a side angle. You want to hold it more vertically. Now how you clean the pen nib is basically, once you're finished drawing, you just take whatever item you can dry something off with, so like a paper towel or a tissue maybe. I usually use tissues because I just have them on my desk because I draw a lot. And it's really simple. Just wipe it off and you're basically done. It's a little hard to see because my camera is shitty, like I said, but it does leave whatever dried up on the pen. So the way you fix that is by getting pretty much anything. I started off using nail polish remover and Q-tips, but water works just as good, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, literally just take a Q-tip, put it in water, like I have here, and then start just wiping off the black ink. It comes right off, pretty much. For other inks, I'm not too sure, but I know Deleter 4 comes off really, really easily. Except for the smaller tip. The smaller tip is a pain in the ass to get off, because the Q-tip can't actually reach all the way down. But the two bigger ones are a lot easier to clean. In the end, using a G pen over a Micron is just a lot more fun. It's more interactive instead of just, you know, taking the Micron or whatever pen or inking utensil you use that isn't a G pen, and just popping the cap off and drawing. I don't know. It's more fun. Also, the sound it makes is really, really soothing. I don't know why. G pens sound very nice when you draw with them. G pens also look more natural than Microns. It's hard to explain, but they just look better. That's something I see a lot of people do, is not use this when inking with a G pen. This helps a lot. If you don't know what this is, it's an eraser, elastic eraser. They're really cheap on Amazon or wherever you get them. They're cheap. And basically what this does is you take it, you roll it over a piece of paper, it takes all the excess pencil lead off the paper. It's really easy to use, and it makes inking a lot easier. Trust me. It was not easy without this. Like I said earlier, you don't want to hold the G pen like sideways. You want to hold it at a more vertical angle so the ink can flow down easier. Because when I started doing G pen stuff, it wouldn't flow because I was holding it like a regular marker. I was holding it like that. You gotta hold it more upwards. It's definitely weird to get used to, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna ink the drawing now to show you how to actually use it. I actually forgot to record this, but if you're rewatching what I already had, I have to do this. So the difference between the 3 nibs I have right now, obviously they're all different sizes and shapes. The one on the far left is the medium size, the one in the middle is large, and the one on the right is the smallest. So the medium is good for like body outlines and just, I don't know, it's just medium lines. You'll see the difference between the 3 at the end of this. But the shading is really nice for cross-hatching on big panels, or whatever you like doing. I do manga panels, so it's really easy. That's the one I use absolutely the most. Now the middle one is the largest one, so it's going to have way thicker lines than both of them. It does run out a lot faster though than the middle one. The one on the left. The middle one I use for usually inking the panel, like the panel boxes, or if there's like a big up close image, I'll do the outline for the body then with that. Or just really thick shading, like Guts' cape. That's when I'll use the middle one. And then the last one is obviously the smallest of the 3, and basically that one is the very, very fine detail one. So like if you're drawing an eye or something that has very, very small details, you want to use this one because it's just the thinnest. And also, I will say this, it does lose a little bit of color. It's not as dark as the medium one, definitely not the middle one as well. But yeah, I just wanted to add this little part in too. Now I'll ink the drawing. So here's the drawing I got. A quick little sketch. I say quick, it was not quick at all. Not even remotely close. Anyway, here's a sketch I'm going to be inking. I'll be doing this live as well. If you're seeing this before this video is out, you probably saw the live. I live stream a lot on here, and we're going to use the eraser. Elastic one at least. And basically all you do is you take it, you roll it up, so that it's like oval shape, and then you literally just rub it on everything. Your entire drawing. As you can see, it doesn't erase the entire drawing, it just takes off that very dark shading, because you don't need that. Also, when you ink, your hand is probably going to smear the paper, like mine usually does, so this gets rid of the pencil smears you'll usually have when drawing. Another reason to do this is that if you don't do it, it can also clog up the G pen. Alright, so here I started using the medium pen, the one I use the most. Just do the outline, and yeah, this is really fast because this took a while to ink. It took like 3 days. And yeah. So here I just started out using the medium G pen, the one I use a lot, pretty much for everything. And how I like drawing is I do the sketch, obviously, then I outline the whole thing, and then I shade. I don't know, that's just how I like doing it. I don't like shading one part and then outlining other things. I just do the whole outline just to get over with. Also, I live stream this entire thing, like the whole drawing. It's all live streamed. I have all the VODs up still. I never delete VODs, so if you ever want to go back and watch those, you can. I live stream sometimes on here, usually when I do a drawing. They're pretty fun, or at least I hope people enjoy them. I think they do, I don't know. Yeah, they're fun though. I have fun streaming. So yeah, so I finished the outline, so now I'm just shading guts. And I don't really have a specific, like, a way to shade. It's kind of, I just pick an area, I shade that, and then I move on to another area. But also the other thing I don't do is, I don't do all the blacks, like, immediately. So I'll do the first outline, lightly shade it, and then I'll use the brush pen like I am right now, just to like fill in all the very dark spots like the cape and the black armor. Then I move on to the knight, which is very, very quick, because there's not a lot of shading on him. And since it's a new camera setup, I didn't really know where the camera cut off. It was a little difficult, so I had to keep readjusting. Did the sky, just light shading first, and then went over it again. And then, yeah, I did the background. Dragon Slayer. And then stippling, my favorite part. I hate stippling. You would know that if you're in the stream. I despise it, but it looks so good, so I continue to do it. It takes so long. And also the pen I use is the smallest one for stippling, or it doesn't work most of the time, so I gotta use a medium again. Yeah, here is the finished drawing. Took about roughly 10 hours, maybe 11. I'm not too sure, I gotta look back at the VOD length. Yeah, it turned out really nice. And I did have to go back and fix some things, because, I don't know, I just messed up on some parts. And I didn't really show how to shade. It's just kind of another time-lapse. I'll release a separate video of just the time-lapse later. But probably release a shading video as well, like how to shade in the art style for Berserk. But yeah, my final thoughts on the G Pen are, it works very well. Well, some of them do. The big one and the medium one, they work the best. The small one doesn't work all the time. It's very frustrating. So, if you do like small, small dots like stippling, probably just use a Micron. That's just easier. And here I'm showing off all the stuff I used again. The ink, the dipping pens, eraser. Oh yeah, the brush pen too. The brush pen I have is like $4, they're really cheap. And the mechanical pencil. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Hopefully you got something out of this. If not, I'm sorry. I'll try to make that sketching, or not sketching, the inking video soon. But I will release the time-lapse as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I do go live a lot, for just drawing art and stuff like this. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. See ya. Who animates One Punch Man? Mappa? I think it's Mappa. Those poor guys, they're gonna have to animate all that. Ugh. That's gonna take forever. That was signed for season 3. Oh my god, those poor guys. Dude, they're gonna have so much work to do. I want Mappa to make Berserk, but don't use CGI. That's what they should do. 2D only, no CGI. It'd be the best Berserk adaptation. I feel sad for map animators. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You know, I don't want them to animate One Punch. What I do want them to animate is Berserk, which is even more detailed. I love how I contradict myself on what I say. I love it.